Hey guys, it's Brad with Real Entrepreneur Secrets, and I'm just racing down the road. I went up to my business partner's house, the CEO of our company, where we do business funding. We're the funding hackers. That's what we do. Modeling, Russell a little bit right there, but it is truly what we do. For years, we have helped real estate investors get funding where they never could. And so I went up to his house because I took him my Teeter inversion table. Now, I'm not sponsored by Teeter in any way, but it's been a tool that I've recently picked up because I've had this history of lower back incidents, if you will, where my lower back will go out and I look like a question mark, to the degree that I was headed to an event in San Francisco a few years ago, and I didn't realize at the time that wearing dress shoes would exacerbate the pain that I was having in my back. And so my back was killing me. The muscles were in spasm. I jump on this plane, and so now not only am I sitting in an RJ regional jet, so a small jet, headed to San Francisco, but I'm dressed to present at the event. So I'm in my suit. I've got my dress suit, shoes on, and as I sit in this airplane chair that is just horribly comfortable, my back starts to hurt worse and worse. Well, as I stood up to leave, I'm walking out the terminal to head towards the security door, and all of a sudden, my back goes completely out. I hit the floor. I had people rushing over thinking I was having a heart attack. I'm having to let them know, no, it's just an incredible amount of pain that has just literally made it so when I put pressure on my right leg, it gave out and would not hold me at all. And so from that, and this has been an ongoing thing in my life, I made it through the weekend. I presented in a chair. It was horrible. I looked like a question mark when I was walking. But it really drove me to get this inversion table. Well, fast forward to this week, and my business partner, our CEO, his back has gone out. And we have a boot camp this weekend that he's supposed to be presenting at. And so I took that up, and as we're sitting there talking, he said, this used to be a chronic condition that he had, and it comes up every once in a while to remind him that he's not showing up for himself, that he's not doing what he needs to take care of himself so that he can be his biggest and best version of himself. And I thought that was really interesting because just a few moments earlier, I'm sitting there as I'm driving up there listening to Alex Charfen on his podcast, and he's talking about meeting Wayne Dyer. And it's the Momentum podcast. If you haven't listened to Alex, every single podcast that he does brings so much value. I recommend going over there and listening to it. But Alex was talking about meeting Wayne Dyer and how Wayne had an entire portion of his presentation where he went really deep talking to this crowd about walking and walking barefoot. Now, Alex calls it the primal walk, and all of the benefits that the primal walk can bring to an individual, not only physically, but energetically, emotionally, all of the different benefits. And it really struck me as interesting. If you saw my other Facebook Live just this morning, I've started doing my primal walk. I have some minimalist shoes that are like the Vibram shoes that Alex actually wears, but they're not the toe shoes. I wasn't comfortable with that, so I bought a different pair, same type of sole, and I can truly feel every single thing when I'm walking. It's amazing. But today's my first day of doing that, because I was listening to Alex, but I didn't know all the history and the depth behind it. I didn't know that when Steve Jobs used to have any big meeting coming up, he would go to those meetings barefoot because it helped ground him. It helped him really be more in tune with and his true self energetically. And there are countless other examples of that. Well, Alex talks about how it's helped lower his cortisol levels, how it's helped lower his body fat, just walking. And he recommends doing it 20 minutes a day. Today I was a little short. I was probably around 10, maybe 12 minutes. But hearing him talk about it just today, catching that podcast, really struck me. And then talking to my boss about how he knows he's not showing up for himself, and then immediately thinking, wow, if he would just start incorporating that primal walk that Alex talks about, the massive benefits it could have for him. Now, for me, guys, today is day one, but I've started in August. I started a slow process of self-care. You know, I used to play college football at the D1 level for the University of Utah. I was in pretty good shape. And over the course of a decade, I've convinced myself that I didn't need to work out other than my cycling that I did. Because if I worked out, I'd bulk up and it made it harder to cycle. And I live in a place where there's a lot of hills, and going uphill, when you weigh what I weigh, and the second the road starts to turn up, it's like throwing out an anchor. Well, I realized I was not truly taking care of myself. And so in August, when we were end of August, when we were in France, I committed to start doing just a few push-ups every single day. And that's where I started my self-care. And it's actually made a huge difference. And you guys, the way I did it, I didn't go crazy. Like Cheyenne, she was telling me she was going to start doing some squats, and she was following this workout. The first day she did 300 squats. Well, you can imagine the next day she was so sore that she couldn't even barely walk. Well, I took a different approach because I'm 47 now, right? I haven't been exercising other than cycling for over a decade, other than intermittently. And so my goal was to just slowly ease into it. And I did as many push-ups as I could do until I was burned out, which wasn't a lot, guys, but I wanted to do them like just in a row, like, you know, not sets of how many I could do. So truthfully, it was probably around 20 push-ups, which is kind of, you know, to me, that's like, holy cow, I am so out of shape. That was embarrassing for me to even not be able to do, you know, what I used to do when I was in the military or when I played football. And I had to convince myself and continually give myself some positive pep talks that that's okay. It's okay after a decade of not going to the gym to do 20 push-ups. It's okay that I added to that number every week by 5 or by 10 to where I could do 50 push-ups in a row. You know, and it's okay to make those gradual improvements and to feel what it started to do to me and my body physiologically. Like, I suddenly wasn't having the shoulder pains that I've pretty much been plagued with for quite a while. All of a sudden, just doing push-ups, the shoulder injury that I had from a car accident when I broke my shoulder and it was dislocated, all of a sudden that pain's starting to hurt less. I'm starting to have more mobility in my shoulder just by doing a few push-ups every day. And for those of you who, you know, you hear, oh, you're not supposed to work out the same body part every single day, I would challenge you to look at what Navy SEALs do, or a lot of other people. But Navy SEALs, they do very similar workouts every single day when they're going through BUD/S. And BUD/S isn't just Hell Week. Hell Week is a piece of training. You know, and sure, it's dramatic, it's hard, but it's just a matter of mind over matter if you listen to any SEAL. And if you want to listen to one, Jocko Podcast. He'll explain it to you like no other. But you know, so that's for them to tell that story. But it's a real story, and it's a real thing that you can actually train the same body parts repeatedly, and it's okay. You're not going to overtax yourself. Now, if you're going to the gym and you're pushing heavy weights, yeah, absolutely, you got to give your body recovery time. But if you're just doing a few push-ups, the human body is massively adaptable, and so I would encourage you to just start doing that. But the concept of self-care, the concept of doing just a 20-minute a day walk where you can connect with yourself, with your business partner, with your spouse, you know, but do the primal walk. Get some minimalist shoes that are comfortable for you, that that allow your foot to really connect. If you can do it barefoot, do it barefoot. For me, I'm not gonna walk barefoot. I'm a bit of a germaphobe and that freaks me out. So I'm doing what I'm comfortable with. And it's something that, guys, like I said, it's day one. I will keep letting you know how this is going. I'm gonna keep letting you know what it's doing for me, so that you can take this journey. You can go on this journey with me as I start, incorporating more self-care and some real strategic positioning of how I do it. So I just wanted to share that, because that was a big aha moment for me today, talking with my boss and how his back came back, his injury or pain came back, reminding him he's not taking care of himself. So guys, I encourage you to take care of yourself. Check out Alex Charfen's podcast, the Momentum podcast. If you want to hear some real hardcore business tactics, check out Jocko podcast. And I will see you guys on the right side of success. This is Brad with Entrepreneur Secrets. Talk to you again soon.